Last night on our live about does the devil exist? A Christian said that yes, the devil exists and he's experienced it through supernatural. That devil exists, demons exist, and that Jesus and God exist. He said that one day he had this pain in his neck and his head, and he saw demons in other people, and this pain radiated down his body, and then he began to call upon the name of Jesus. And as he did, a golden glow came around his head, and the demons went away, and the demons and people went away, and his pain went away. Well, I said that you just had a placebo effect for one. And the other part is that you probably had a pinched nerve, and that pinched nerve in your neck caused you to hallucinate and believe that you saw something that wasn't there. Now, this was all in the text. He refused to come on and lend his voice to it and describe his story, as many Christians are afraid to actually come on to the lives that we have every Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. But I asked him another question, and this showed his bias. I asked him two more questions, actually. The first question I asked was that if you want to prove that Jesus is real, have the same amount of faith in Brahman, Krishna, Allah. Have the same event or similar event, and let's see what happens. If the pain doesn't go away, if the demons don't go away, then maybe Jesus is real. But you have to have the same amount of belief. It can't be that you just say, I'm going to call out the name of Allah. Because I asked him, I said, did you call out anybody else's name? He said, no, I didn't call anybody else's name out because I only believe in Jesus. And I said, okay, have that same amount of faith. But then I asked him, but he refused to answer that question, to get involved in that question. So then I put it a different way. I said, of course, in my lifetime, I've talked to people who worship Brahman. I've talked to people who worship Allah. And in talking to those people, they have the exact same testimonies that every Christian has. There's been time when they've been healed. There's been time when things have manifested. There's been times where they've seen demons or jinn and they call upon the name of Krishna or they call upon the name of Allah. And miracles happen. All of a sudden, the family member gets their visas and they're able to come to America. All of a sudden, the person who was dying in the hospital now has a recovery that the doctors can't explain. All of a sudden, whatever it is that they were still dealing with, seeing, it all goes away. So I asked him, I said, if other religious people can have the same experience, but calling on the God that they believe in, what does that tell you? And as I pause, there are many of you right now in the comments who are thinking to write, oh, that's just the devil tricking those people so that they keep believing in their religion. Well, riddle me this, Batman. What kind of God and Father do you have that he would allow his enemy to falsify himself as another God, have those people believe in him? They've never heard of your God, being born into that religion and fully indoctrinated, and then perform happy miracles for them. What kind of father do you have that allows for that? That would be like if my kids had a stepfather who was living in the house with them and he was teaching my kids that doing cocaine is a good thing. And they were having laughable experiences. And me as a father, knowing that cocaine is not good for you, just sit by and let it happen and then punish them when they become addicts. Because that's your God. If you say that he is allowing the devil to do that. You see how that doesn't work? It doesn't fit. And as it is said, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. So that rationale just simply doesn't work. So how is it that these things are happening? But see, your conscientious bias is going to say that the devil is doing those things, that the devil is tricking those people. And there are millions upon millions of people and billions throughout history who have never heard of your God. So how can he be tricking them away from your God if they've never heard of your God? You see how that doesn't work either? It doesn't. It doesn't. But he refused to answer the question. Instead, he's tried to ask this question and tried to obfuscate into this direction and that direction. And after a while, I just started to ignore him because you will not come on there and ask me questions and expect me to answer, and yet you refuse to answer my questions. That's not how it works. So I invite all Christians to come onto the channel. Tonight, we're going to be discussing David and Goliath and how the story is borrowed from the Iliad, Homer's Iliad, and that is a fake story. And that the true political reasons as to why David and Goliath's story was written, as well as how it is an unfair fight, that David had all the clear advantages over Goliath in this story. So I'll see you guys tonight at 8:30 p.m. at Coach Renz 33 on YouTube and Facebook. And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.